Hey guys, welcome to another session of Loadout. So this Loadout episode is going to be talking about my team composition going into the Omega trial. As some of you know, Omega is not the easiest trial to fight. So I'm going to kind of give you guys some tips and pointers of what you guys need. So in case you don't have enough gear, you know what to go for. So first things first is this is my team. As you can see, Aiko as our LB fill rate and healer. She can also remove breaks, which does happen in the battle. And she's going to be our bait. So Omega snorts every 4 turns. So she was my first bait, and the secondary option would have been Awaken Rain as my secondary bait. But we're gonna go to our gear, and then let me continue to explain the rules first. I think yeah, so Aiko, summoner, summon gauge filler, and LB Gale fill gauge for everyone. Odin was on her just in case she needed a quick finger snap to dispel a party member. The reason was because I originally thought it would be complicated with 2 provoke tanks and 3 if you add her. So I was thinking that I would need to dispel one of the provoke tanks. So Awaken Rain can provoke and Warrior Light can provoke, and both of them needed to do it. That was pretty much the role of Aiko, those things. And Awaken Rain was pretty much just provoke tank with single target death coverage and also a magic tank. Zargaboth was our buffer. So buff AoE, attack, magic, defense, and spirit. And also stop resist with his enhancements. He also had rejuvenate +2 that allows him to single target re-raise on a unit he wants, and heal and restore MP, etc. And Leela for our powerhouse, and Phoenix for fire resistance. Phoenix also gives more spirit than someone like Ifrit, and she could imbue lightning and imperial lightning at the same time. And that is Omega's weakness. He has an innate 300% weakness to lightning, so you want to really take advantage of that. He absorbs all other elements, but he is really weak to lightning. You can hit him with neutral elements, so neutral attacks, etc. That would work, but you really want to take advantage of the 300% weakness that he has there. Warrior of Light was simply our evasion cover tank and provoke tank at times. We did need to use provoke, and he could break. Even though his breaks didn't really help us, it was really just for kind of it's just some security, just some insurance that we would be able to get through some if he didn't cover, for example. So let's go into our kit here. So as you can see, all units must have 100% fire resistance right off the bat. You can't buff the fire, and the reason is because on when you go in a preemptive attack, he uses atomic ray, and it does a really crazy fire damage. So even if you're at like 80%, I think as high as 80% fire elemental resistance, you're still not going to survive. And that's on a tank, by the way. That's on a tank, so high HP. Still not going to survive. What I had on her was simple Holy Wand. It wasn't really to do anything except to make her look a bit better. Bowie Knife for more HP. And as you can see, Cat Ear Hood has a 20% fire resistance. Rainbow Robe is Marie's TMR, has a 30% fire resistance. And he does status ailments as well. So I wanted to make sure that no one was really affected by status ailments. So Mog Ribbon on her, because she has innate 30% all status ailment resistance, and Mog's Ribbon will give her a 70% additional status ailment protection. And Portal Charm has a 30% fire resist. That's why I'm using it here, not for anything else. And Magic Sanctuary for another 25% on the materia. And what I did for her was Mog Wisdom to increase her LB fill rate. And so if I couldn't get the evocation gauge in time, I could just use her LB, and that would pretty much fill the evocation gauge. Pure White Blessing for LB fill, and Ignorance for LB fill as well. Awaken Rain, I have him with Crimson Saber with more HP, and Flame Shield for that extra fire coverage. Now Awaken Rain does have innate fire fire resistance, so that's what made him a lot easier. As you can see, one flame shield really covered all of it. He has a 50% innate resistance. Frozen Crown for more HP, and I used Ankh of Goddess in case I needed to revive myself. And that was a tip by Mago, who I did use as a partner Leela in the actual trial. Safety bit on him to prevent single target death. I had dual cast on him just in case, because he does have raise as an ability. So I wanted just to use it in case I needed an off turn dual cast Razor, which we didn't really need to use it. Thirst for Survival and Protector of Lapis is just for Spirit. It really didn't really help much. And Mog Wisdom on himself as well for more LB fill rate. So one of the missions is that you need to use 2 LBs per for the battle. And depending if you lose too many units or you don't deal enough chaining damage, it might be hard to actually get the LB mission. And this is my Zargaboth. So I equipped him with Sasuke's Katana because it has dual wield innate, and because he has good passives if you equip with Katana, and Hammer as well. That's why I use these 2 weapons. And Judge Helm for 15% fire resistance, Millie's Charm from Star Ocean collab for 10% fire resistance, and Bomb Engagement Ring for another 30% fire resistance, and Flame Mail. And that pretty much does it for him. As you can see, he has Renewal for MP because he does drain MP really quickly, 30% more MP, and also Anti-Disaster. This was a trial reward, I believe, and more MP recover with Great Mage's Chant. And this ensured that we have enough MP to go around. And Leela, as you can see, my Leela is not the best that you can see, but Cloak of Flames, this really helps. 20% fire, and Minerva Bustier has the highest spirit clothing with flame resistance. So with these 2 combined with Phoenix, that equals 100% fire resistance. You had to go with non-elemental. Like I said, if you went with Holy Wand, he would absorb the damage. So that's why I had to go with Knuckles of Hope, since this is a free TMR from the raid. And Nirvana here, and Hairpin of Purity just to prevent status ailments, and also for more spirit. Genji Glove for the dual wield. You got Frigo and etc. for 50% machine killer, and machine killer TM for 100% total machine killer. This was pretty necessary to kill him quickly. I experimented with you know, not having enough machine killer, and it was just cutting it really close. Staff Mastery and Bury Mage's Oath for another 100% spirit passive with Rod equipped. So 869 spirit was the end result for her. Warrior of Light, 100% fire resist, of course, was our evasion tank. So Ring of the Lucii, Protect Grappler, G3, Raven Beret, and Swordbreaker. So Swordbreaker has a 5%, Raven Beret 5%, Ring of the Lucii, and Protect Grappler. That equals 60% total. Zodiac Escutron for another 10%, that's 70%, and then Flame Mail for 50% fire resist. And as you can see, I have a Quick Assault, Spirit of Freedom, and True Spirit of Freedom. So 15, 10, 10, that equals 100%. And then I have a bit over 100%, and a Discernment for protection of status ailments. So every time you hit Omega with a physical attack, he actually confuses. He actually does confusion and hits those who have hit him. And so Warrior of Light, what he had to do was cover, and he could cover the counters, but if he didn't have status ailment protection, he would be confused while he's covering. So we had to do that for him. And other things to note, obviously your friends would have to be synced up with you. Like, you'd pretty much have to get in contact with them. Hey, I need a partner, I need 100% fire resist, as much machine killer as possible. I'm showing Taruchi here as my partner, but in the battle, like I said, I did use Mago. But they pretty much have very similar equipment. It's just that Taruchi has a bit lower spirit, but it's okay. So he has the right stuff. He has 100% fire resistance. He has 100% machine killer, and even though it's lower spirit, 100% machine killers actually make a bigger difference than having higher spirit. So it was good, and thank you again, Taruchi, for also setting up your Leela for me. So that's pretty much it. In the actual battle, I ended up saving my LB and my Esper for the very end, because he has a 4-turn rotation. First turn at the fire preemptive attack AoE magic. His second turn, which is after your literal first turn, single target death and then physical AoE, which then breaks everyone, and then magic AoE, which causes stop, blind, and silence. And this, I don't think any magic tank can actually tank this, but my Awakened Rain, I think even with breaks, he still died in one shot. So I don't think you should try, because he absorbs the AoE damage. So damage that was supposed to go to 6 units, he absorbed it all into himself. So it would take a lot of tanking power to be able to tank that. And then the 4th turn, he does a snort and it's permanent. That's when Aiko used the Protagonist Halo. So make sure, if you don't have a 3rd provoker, innate provoker, bring a Protagonist Halo here, as you can see in my items. Once used, it gives you 100% provoke. Having them set up in this unit order is also very important. I can't stress that enough, because that's what screwed me up many times when I was experimenting on this trial. The unit order goes like this. If 3 provoke tanks are provoking, unit slot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it goes in that kind of priority. So if they're all 100% provoke, it would take unit slot 1 first. And I did test this because I had a Awakened Rain provoked, I think, I had a Warrior of Light provoked, and I had Aiko use provoke, and she was the one that got snorted. Otherwise, if you don't provoke on that turn, he snorts out the one with the highest attack. So again, depending on your team, maybe the highest attack is not a bad thing. But anyways, that's something to keep in mind. And then after that, I think I killed him on turn 7, I think. After that, he does another single target death, magic AoE, and then fire AoE, magic damage again, and then physical AoE, and then turn 9, he snorts again. So the rotation is very similar. It's not exactly the same, but you pretty much have to cover the same things. Now on the very last, the kill shot, what I did was use Awakened Rain's LB and Warrior Light's LB. They weren't meant to do damage, they were just meant to complete the mission. And then my Leela's chained with Zargaboth evoking Rama for the lightning chain cap, even though I didn't necessarily actually get the cap, but at least it still did lightning damage. So that was it. That was all missions for that. I don't know if I'm missing anything really. I don't think so. Oh yes, Taruchi made a really good point here on stream. I think this is really good to know. He says you need to take in the account of innate draw attacks. So the unit order is for everyone might be different depending. So Wilhelm, I think, has a 50% innate draw attack. So if he had provoke on, you don't cap at 100 apparently, you actually become 150% provoke. So no matter what the unit slot is, he's gonna still go for the one with the highest provoking chance. So be careful of any unit you're using with innate draw attack, or if you're using, like, let's say Mugo plushie, and then you, I don't know, somehow you use Protagonist Halo, that would become 130% provoke. So be very, very careful of that. So unit order wouldn't matter at that point. Okay, so Shomari asked an important question. I think I will say this as well. So would unit order apply to cover skills? It would apply, but technically it won't as well. If you had 2 physical cover units and they both had AoE cover, it would still apply. The same rule would still apply. Higher unit slot order would still take priority. However, what I went with Magic Cover Rain and Magic Cover Warrior of Light, because the hits are different. So remember, if he did a physical attack, Warrior of Light could cover it, but then if he did a magical attack, Awakened Rain can cover that magic attack, right? Because that's a separate cover. But what happened in my battle was a Warrior of Light went to cover the counter, which is a physical attack, and then Awakened Rain countered on his actual turn. So not his counter turn, but his actual turn, a magic cover. And yes, the answer is no, you can't actually cover both at the same time on the same turn. But if you're watching my trial video, it may seem that that's what's happening. But Warrior of Light covered on a counter turn, so technically it wasn't even Omega's real turn. And then Awakened Rain counter on the magic turn. Yeah. Okay, anyways, I'm going to end that off here. I think that's all the information I can give you guys. Hopefully this has been a useful loadouts video. Again, do not be disheartened that you couldn't beat him. I think most people at this point will probably go with Olive and Olive Friends. And I would say, you know what? Olive is built for this. just use olive. There's no shame in doing it. I was almost about to give up on this strategy, but I was really convinced I could pull this off with Leela's. So I decided, you know what, I'm just gonna keep practicing until I get this right, and that's what I ended up doing. Anyways, let's end off this video here. If you guys have Discord, check out the Discord server, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. And like I said, the trial video will be up with this loadouts video, so make sure you check that out as well if you want to see how that battle went. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.